The dudes with attitude, Junkyard Dog, Paul Orndorff and El Gigante, talking of sideshows, versus the Horsemen, Barry Windham, Arn Anderson and Sid Vicious.
Now, I read on a forum that my opinions on Sid Vicious are not respected.
No! I thought...
I never read any forum pieces about WrestleMe.
Yeah.
And I had a little look and I was like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, it was a week where for suddenly everyone had decided we talk a load of bollocks. Two people.
Yeah, no, we do. But
their cases in point were that I said that Morrison was better than Miz and Shelton Benjamin deserved a push, and those two things they disagreed with. Absolutely fine. The one thing you can't disagree with is that you don't think Sid is very good.
But the start is just 5 minutes of hugging, Mark.
I know.
Just hugging.
And they treated it like we'd sort of basically said, I'll tell you who actually is bullshit, is like Bruno Sammartino. You know, it's just rubbish. It's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe everyone sits out there and goes, but he's the best wrestler.
But...
I don't know. That's up to you. I mean,
but I never really
seen the match he's been in that would make you think that.
But imagine, like, seeing something that I don't think any of this through. I am a 9-year-old watching this, going, I don't like the look of him. He's a bell end, and that's as far as it goes. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
You know, look, it's a broad church. People aren't going to agree with everything. But
please,
there is...
look. I'm sorry I brought it up because it sounds like we're being less than complimentary.
I love that. You know what? I don't mind anyone disagreeing and everything. I just think that the hill to die on is not that Sid is really good. The other ones, I was like, I wonder if I was wrong there. I don't know. But I saw the Sid one and I was like, okay, I'm not going to read the end of that. I did, of course. It was about us. Yeah, I mean, it's just not the hill to die on. I mean, Sid looked great, and I think that's also a really annoying thing, that he looked like he should have been the man of the 90s.
Yes.
I believe that was how he was briefly billed. But
the man of the 90s?
Yeah, the man of the 90s, Sid Justice.
That was Craig Evigan from My Two Dads, as we well know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, I love this match because for something taking place on a thing called New Revolution, I'd say 2/3 of this match are in their 50s. And it's impossible really to work out who is going to win, because it's previously been the young people win or your Harley Race wins, bucking the only trend.
Yeah.
But this one, I was like, I don't know who they want to get over here. I don't know who the future is supposed to be. There's a future on one side, you've got Barry Windham and Arn Anderson, and you go, they've been around for a long time. And on the other side, you're like, but they can't be pushing JYD and Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. So I was like,
it's got to be Gigante, hasn't it? But the dudes with attitude is the lamest name, but I love it. I love it when they put together disparate, nonsensical groups that would never hang out.
Yep.
El Gigante and Junkyard Dog and Paul Orndorff. Imagine seeing them all in a minibus. That would be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
And Paul Orndorff is, I mean, he just doesn't fit in this at all. Because again, he's sort of going, I'm a dude. And he's just uptight and strange.
I'm a dude with attitude.
He's just weird, man.
Hey, are you a dude with attitude?
But that was the thing. I bet the first time you heard dude with attitude, you were like, that is a fucking saying. And then the next day you'd have woken up and you'd gone, I hear that everywhere.
It's like,
Route one.
Yeah. Hi, dudes with attitude. You know what I mean? It's like...
we got to think of a name for you guys. you sort of like 4 or 5 dudes.
With attitude.
It's so lazy in Route 1.
Attitudes would be better.
Yeah, and the
dudes
only
with
one...
attitudes. Or, Bible bashing ones, dudes with beatitudes. They would be like a Bible
dudes
group.
With platitudes.
A Bible study group. And they're just reading...
I'm so sorry that we actually beat you. There's loads of gimmicks here. The only person who really...
Fat guys, dudes with attitude.
The only person who really was a dude with attitude was Sting, because he had that sort of surfer Sting gimmick. And he was, Californian sort of feel about him.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get on.
He was the only sort of dude.
Right.
But, I mean, under no circumstances is Paul Orndorff a dude. He just isn't a dude.
Not a dude.
He looks like...
He's a doff.
Your first girlfriend's aggressive father. the one who, when you came over to, I don't know, like listen to a music CD together, would see you in the hall and he'll just go, if there's any monkey business, I will be grabbing you and I will be punching you in the face. Do you understand me?
Yeah.
But like, we're going to listen to the Suede CD.
The things I collect are hats I find on motorways. See that hat rack? I've got every last one of them I found on the M4. Every last one of them.
Are you laughing at me? Are you laughing at my hats? Are you laughing at my road hats? No, sir. Good. Well, you better not. I mean, I can't wait to be that sort of dad. I'm going to be so fucking hard work. So hard work. Continually.
You got daughter.
I'm going to be like Killer Kowalski. Whenever I see him in a photo, he's always holding his wrist and doing the iron claw and looking really intense. That is how I'm going to treat everyone who wants to see my daughter. Hold my hand out and I'll take 3 steps back out of shot when they've come over. Like that. It's going to be a sinister fucking dad.
That's where falls count anywhere. And anywhere means anywhere in or out of the building.
And it also means that anything goes. You know, a lot of people out there seem to think that this pinfalls anywhere is Cactus Jack's match. But I'm going to tell you something, Cactus. I'm going to dissect you like I would a frog.
This is El Gigante's debut here.
Imagine, like, Sid Vicious is a tall monster of a man.
He really is.
Don't put him in a match with the fucking death giant.
That is exactly the problem with WCW. They use their big people. Instead of putting El Gigante, should have been in a match against Dirty Dutch Mantel.
Yes.
And Dirty Dutch Mantel would have looked tiny. And that would have made El Gigante look bigger.
El Gigante could have worn his later fursuit and they would have looked like a magnified version of Bigfoot and Son.
My son has progeria. I need help. We have no hospitals in the woods.
We must make money selling moonshine.
Father, why do you cry at night? Oh, I cry for you, my tiny, disgusting Sasquatch child.
El Gigante was 7'7", and they put him in a group called the Dudes with Attitude. That's not the identifying mark I would go with.
Dudes with Altitude.
Altitude.
That would work.
Thank you.
The one that we didn't do. That was beautiful.
The Altitude dude with his friends.
I mean,
the Altitude dude would be a good name for El Gigante. It would stop us from saying Gigante, El Gigante.
A Mexican wrestler called Altitude, who was really tall, would be brilliant. Stick a mask on him, because that's also funny, but the idea that you wouldn't recognise him if he was outside without his mask on. Totally anonymous.
And it would be effectively like a Money in the Bank match, because you'd be trying to climb on to remove his mask, wouldn't you?
The Horsemen cannot do anything in this match to anyone. Paul Orndorff and the Junkyard Dog, they're old hands. They know what it's like to be a big star. They think they are big stars again.
Yeah.
El Gigante is unused to wrestling in any capacity.
Yeah.
The crowd are absolutely knocked out to see him, and the Horsemen just have to be pummeled by 3 people who could not carry them to a decent 5-minute match. It's so bad. And what you can see here again, the WWF-ification, where Junkyard Dog and Paul Orndorff, who was a big star in WWF, and El Gigante, who is a spectacle, they're beginning to go, let's push these guys over the people who most of the audience are here to see.
Yeah.
And this match is a disaster in that respect. It just, they end it by protecting the Horsemen, where the Horsemen are disqualified for throwing Junkyard Dog over the top rope.
Right.
Amazing that Junkyard Dog managed to make it over. I would not have booked this match saying, and it relies on Junkyard Dog being able to get over the top rope. There's an attempt here where they're just going, but we can't have our main bad guys lose, but we can't have the new cool stable of 55-year-old men and an Argentinian monster lose. And so they get slightly booked into a thing. The throwing over the top rope being an intentional disqualification, it happened in all wrestling for many, many years.
Right.
It was only the WWE got rid of it. And the idea was, if you threw someone over the top rope, because there wasn't padding outside the ring, you were intentionally going too far and trying to injure them.
Oh, so you would...
Essentially, you're trying to throw them onto concrete. That is a disqualification, because you are endangering their life. You know, you've gone too far.
Right.
Over the top rope would be the most dangerous move you could traditionally do in wrestling. The only time you could do it would be a battle royale, at which point it didn't matter for some reason. It's basically the one thing you mustn't do until we do the match each year, where we do want the match.
We do it, yeah.
I watched part of this WCW TV that I watched. I actually saw the Dudes versus the Horsemen on a television show, and it was a slightly better match. But JYD, this is the match before. His belly is twice as big, and you've seen it in this. You know, like a hot
lovely
little drum.
We always talk about like nice, just tight.
Looks like an oak doorknob. Bite on. Oh, it's just beautiful. And I bet you sort of yield with your teeth as well, like if you bit into wood.
Yeah.
Need a little bit of an impression.
Let him.
It'd be like, you do that to Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog and the Iron Sheik, I would like to be squished. I'd like my head squished by their big bellies.
I think we're thinking
very pleasing.
It would be like two soft sort of like
Boobs.
or plums, but plums in cling film, so they keep the shape. But I think it would actually just feel like two fucking rocks on either side. I don't know what's making those tummies distended, but the fact that Junkyard Dogs is inflating and uninflating over the course of a week, that looks. I'm not a doctor, but honestly, that looks serious as fuck.
Maybe you just love sherbet. Just eats a lot of sherbet.
I've started eating balloons. Oh, have you?
Cool, yeah.
So chewy.
Well, don't think I'm gonna come like a cabbage, baby, all head and no rear. I'm gonna have the 4 baddest dudes in the world looking out for the dog's back. That's the bad dudes with the attitudes.
All right, the dude.